Alright, so this morning we had the Honkai Star Rail version 4.5 a live stream, and in there, not only did we get a lot of cool stuff coming for the patch, but we also got our first bit of kit information for Robin Summeretto and Aventurine Waveflair, which is super exciting. So today, I want to go over the information that they gave us, and I want to give my initial thoughts on these two characters, now that we know at least a little bit of what they're going to be able to do. So, let's jump right in here, starting out with Robin Summeretto. So she's going to be a wind character on the Path of Remembrance, and she actually does have some pretty interesting abilities here. So starting out with her talent, it said that certain ally actions will help to build up her vibes, which is going to be her unique resource. And when they mentioned this, they showed that healing, shielding, and doing attacks will all build up vibes, which honestly makes this a very easy resource to build up, especially if you're running her on a team with characters that attack or heal or shield a lot. So that's going to be very important to keep in mind with her. Next up, for her skill, it's going to summon the Memo Sprite Summer Songbirds, which there actually are 3 different songbirds, and the ones that are present fully depend on how many vibes she has. At the beginning, the only summer songbird that would be out is Bessie, but as you get more vibes, you're gonna get access to Drummy and Patty as well. And once you have all 3 summer songbirds on the field, Robin's gonna deploy a zone that will give allies a certain buff, which they didn't mention, whenever they attack enemies. And Robin and the Summer Songbirds are going to be immune to crowd control. So that is going to be very good as well, so you don't have to worry about any kind of debuffs, which of course, when I think of crowd control at this point, I think of the Graphia fight, because that fight can be very annoying with the crowd control that it does. So that'll be very good there as well, or any other future fight that has a lot of crowd control effects. Then for Robin Summeretto's ultimate, it's going to advance the action of one ally by 100%, and restore a certain amount of that ally's energy, which can be really good for characters that use a lot of energy. Also, whenever that chosen ally attacks for a certain duration, Robin Summeretto is going to gain additional vibes when they attack. So that's super good as well to just keep getting vibes up, because that is going to be a very important resource for Robin Summeretto here. Then finally, they talked about her technique, which gives all allies a damage increase for the start of battle for a certain duration, and she'll also gain an additional amount of vibes. I believe based on the livestream footage, it was 6, so that is a pretty solid amount of extra vibes there for her. So Robin overall has a pretty good kit in all honesty. The fact that she's an energy support is very good, because Hoyoverse is very stingy with giving out the energy supports, because I think they realized early on how really busted characters like Ting Yun were at the start of Star Rail, so they've been very picky with when to give us energy supports, so the fact that we have a new one here is extremely good. Also, the vibes mechanic is very good. The fact that you can build it up by healing, shielding, or just attacking in general makes it so that Robin Summeretto is going to be very good on several teams, especially teams really that can do any of those actions very consistently. And speaking of teams, I think she's going to be on a multitude of teams here. I do think, just based on what they showed on the live stream, she'll be able to work on Mono Remembrance, which is super cool, because she can either replace Cyrene or Evernight, depending on what comp you're running, or even Castorus as well, honestly. You can do main DPS Evernight, so she can really just slot in for any of them, which, if I do end up being able to pull for Robin, because I don't have too many pulls, but I mean, I probably am going to try. I do think that I'm going to test out all of them, because I do have the full Mono Remembrance team, but we'll see how that ends up working out for us. But the fact that that team has Memo Sprites means you're going to get a lot more actions to get more vibes with Robin, plus Hyacinth Sustain as well, because that happens anytime you're attacked by enemies or lose HP. You're going to get even more vibes from her as well, so that team's going to be able to build up vibes very easily. Then, in the livestream, they also showed a Himiko Nova comp, which is, I would probably say, not as good as Mono Remembrance, but because the assist skill on an ally's turn, can be used, that does give you a bit of extra actions as well, so you will be able to build up a decent amount of vibes there as well. And also, I think Robin Summeretto is going to be amazing on any team with characters that are very energy hungry. And the biggest team that's relevant right now is the Saber and Gilgamesh team. I think they're going to be super good alongside Robin Summeretto here. And I think overall, with just what we know so far, I think she will be a pretty strong investment for most players, but in terms of what her full set of buffs and full kit does, we gotta wait a few days for her full kit to drop so that we can see what exactly she's offering, and maybe she'll have some better synergy on some other comps I didn't mention as well, so we'll have to see there. But now, let's swap over to Aventurine Waveflair. So Aventurine Waveflair is a quantum character on the path of Elation, and his skill just does damage to all enemies, and his ultimate is going to deal damage to all enemies while also increasing his speed. So pretty much on him, you'll be using his skill just to deal with multiple targets, and the ultimate speed boost is going to be very helpful, especially for the way that Elation tends to work with a lot of high-speed characters. Then, the biggest part of his kit is going to be his talent. So whenever Aventurine Waveflair has Certified Banger, his skill and ultimate will deal extra Elation damage. Anytime allies take action, or when Aventurine Waveflair uses his skill or ultimate, he's going to build up Punchline and Fervor, with Fervor being his unique mechanic. When he has at least 10 Fervor, he'll automatically launch his Elation skill, which deals damage to all enemies. And this can only trigger, I think, 1 time per AHA instant, based on how they worded it in the livestream. And when you trigger the next AHA instant after triggering this Fervor Elation skill, he's going to consume all Fervor that he has to enhance his Elation skill to deal even more Elation damage. Which is honestly really good, so you'll be able to deal a pretty solid amount of damage with him with that effect there. And finally, for his technique, it's going to attack enemies to start battle, and he's going to gain Fervor and Certified Banger at the start of battle. So since he's getting the Certified Banger right from the jump, he's going to be able to get that extra Elation damage on his skill and ultimate right away, which is super nice to just not have any kind of waiting period for that extra damage there. So that's everything they showed for Aventurine Waveflair's kit, so I think that he's going to be a pretty solid Elation character, honestly. I think he can work as a main DPS option, but I do also think he has value as a sub DPS as well on the mono Elation comp. And I think the really cool thing about him is that a lot of these Elation characters, they really want to be surrounded by Elation. Like, because we have 2 main Elation teams right now. We have the Silverwolf level 999 team, and we have the Evanescia team. And those teams, pretty much, you want to have Yao Guang plus another Elation character, and then Huo, right? Like, that's pretty much the comps that have been ran for the past couple patches so far. But, while Aventurine can work on, I think especially the Silverwolf team, he isn't completely stuck to Elation like a lot of the other Elation characters are, because of his own ability to generate Punchline and also the Fervor effect to enhance his Elation skill. And with that, I think there are 2 relevant teams that he's going to be very good on. The first one, as I mentioned already, is the Silverwolf level 999 Elation team. He would take the place of Sparksy as the Punchline generator, because any ally actions and his own skill and ultimate will build up extra Punchline, which does supercharge Silverwolf. So that is also an important thing to keep in mind, depending on if you already have Sparksy, if you don't have Sparksy, or if you pulled her like E0 S0 and you want to get Aventurine like E0 S1 or further investment, that could be a better option as well. But we don't know how much he's going to fully compare to Sparksy, just because we don't have his full kit officially yet. So once we get that, I definitely will give my thoughts there. But the other team he's going to work very well on is actually the Ashvale team, or as everyone calls it, the Ashblade team. Because even though he's not with Elation characters, Ashvale and Mordenax Blade do have their follow-up attacks, so they're going to be able to generate even more Punchline and Fervor for Aventurine Waveflair, which is going to be super good to just supercharge his Elation damage there. So all in all, I think that he is a pretty solid investment. I think probably less overall account value than Robin Summeretto, but I do think that if you are trying to improve your Ashblade team, or if you're trying to get another option for your Silverwolf level 999 Elation team, I think that he could definitely be a pretty solid option there. But again, once we know his full kit details, we'll definitely make a video on that and give my overall thoughts for his entire kit there. But that's everything for the live stream. I definitely think these 2 characters are going to be very solid, and I think regardless, they can be some pretty good investments on your account, especially if you're using them on the teams that I mentioned they'd be really good on. But let me know what you all think in the comments down below. But thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed and want to see more content from me, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But with that, everyone, I will see you all next time.